Hi, this is Steve back at the channel. Going to try a couple things. I'm going to work on these fuel tanks for the IS2. Got the tracks down there drying in the basement. I shot a bit of brown on them. Then I'm going to show you how I add different colors to it. Usually, that's a pretty simple technique, but it's down there drying. Everybody's out of the house right now, so I want to see what I can do on my own here. The interesting thing about these trumpeter tanks is normally when you get these tanks in a kit, they will be either halves or they'll come in threes where this center section is is uh is one solid piece and you just add these on. This is one solid piece. You've got the end. That's already part of the mold. And then you have this open end, and I've got the other part to that just down here. Let's see, we get him in focus here, and we'll just get him cleaned up. But what I want to do is these tanks, they are perfect, and really that's the problem. So what we want to be able to do is we want to put a couple dents in them. And I've seen people do different things. They've done it with hot knives or actually just rebuild them out of brass and have a real go at beating them up. That's a bit too much for me. The hot knife, I don't have that, and usually I just end up melting things. So what I want to show you, what I want to do is, and what we're going to do is, we're just going to cut. See if we can see this. We're just gonna cut chunks out of this, right? And we're just gonna beat it up. Now this will look it it'll look it won't look great at the moment, but we're going to cut some chunks out, and we're going to cut chunks out longitudinally or up and down, whatever that word is, because I imagine these tanks spent a lot of time being rolled on their sides. So what we'll do is we are just going to cut kind of things that would go in the way that a tank would be rolled and get beat up. And we don't want to do too much because we don't want to overdo it. We just want to make sure it doesn't look new. These things did contain fuel, and if they get too beat up, they're just going to leak fuel. Now, the other way you can do this, see, I've done this with a number 11 blade. And just be careful when handling number 11 blades. Normally, when I have a new blade in there, I lose a lot of blood. I cut a lot of fingers with number 11 blades. So, I'm going to take my trusty sanding stick, and I'm going to just put it on its side, and I'm going to cut grooves into the tank. And these grooves are a little bit more subtle than the carved out ones. So, what we'll do is we'll just try to keep it in focus here. I'm just trying to figure out where. And you can see, and you can just see the material I'm moving. Let's see if we can get it a bit better. So we'll chop and do a little bit more. And we've got four of these we got to do. And what you really want to do, there we go. You just kind of want to cut some dents in them. The other thing that'll happen is once you get this on the kit, once you get this mounted, every one of these caps is going to line up, right? Every one of these caps is going to line up. So I don't. I'm retired Air Force. I imagine though on a tank, this stuff was bouncing around, and even though it's strapped down, these things were going to rotate. And just to give it a bit of difference in each tank, a bit of personality, what I'm going to do is I am going to just gently slice, and you want to just I want to slice. Let's see if we can get that in view. You just want to slice that filler cap and just see if you can get them off. And what'll happen is you're going to leave a dent in the tank. So that'll be another dent for you. And just work this off. Now, this number 11 blade is kind of beat up. And I'll be honest with you, the sharp blades scare me. So let's see here. The cap, there's the cap down there. So at this point, we'll just make a nice dent out of that. We'll use that. So we want to keep it in the same because these are all on a line. So I've got the cap down there, and it really doesn't matter how beat up the cap came off. You know, don't worry about that. It's not going to be perfect. So we'll put a bit of glue down there, or maybe it will be perfect for you. For me, I don't always get them off clean, but by the time you pick it back up and you stick it back in place, and we'll just get some more glue around it. There you go. And let's just push him into place. We'll just push him into place. There we go. And he looks good, because what you're going to do, okay, we'll just get him in there. And it's funny with this is probably one of the few times you want to get a little bit of extra glue, because you'll melt him in there. So see, we've got the cap. Now when this is mounted on a vehicle, the cap won't be straight up. The cap won't be straight up. It'll just be a beat up fuel tank. And what we'll do is we'll put glue on all our dents, and what the glue will do is just kind of soften the edges. The other thing what we're going to do is when we paint these tanks up, we're going to highlight the dents. If you're a figure painter or you kind of tinker with figures, what you'll end up doing is you'll just kind of treat them as folds in the uniform, and that will bring those tanks out. It'll bring the wear and tear on the tanks. So, final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to there we go. I'm going to put the remaining end cap on. We'll get the end cap on once we get him in there. And it's not keyed, at least I don't think it is. I've done some cleaning up on him. Maybe I just didn't get enough, so we'll get that. We'll get that. And I don't know about the quality of fuel tank production in Russian factories, just what the standards were. To be honest, I would think this stuff, it just went on. I mean, if you ever see Laserpig's video on the T-34, whether you believe all that or not, I think there's a little bit of truth into some of their production methods, where it was, you got a tank. If you got a tank at the end of it, you got a tank. Didn't matter if it was neat. Didn't matter, as long as you could go out there and fight with it. That's what counted. So I just want to get him to set right. So I don't know. And I'm not sure I'm going to use all the tanks. Some of the pictures I've seen of the Soviets in Berlin, and I just want to erase some of my fingerprints on here. They didn't carry a lot of tanks on with them. I don't know if it's just the pictures or if that was a standing order, where they just trying to cut down on the flammables. Either way, it looks cool on the tank. The fuel tank looks cool on the tank. So we've got this guy. You can see he's a bit beat up. When we get him painted up, he's going to look pretty good. Now, this is simple stuff, and what I'm trying to do on the channel is, there are some tremendous modelers out there, and they do amazing work. But for us mere mortals, we're kind of confined, limited space. We don't have studios. I use a handful of rudimentary tools. I've got, the liquid glue, which I love. I'm using this, and only because I couldn't get any other putty, but just a general putty, a knife. You got, oops, sorry, my sprue cutters are back there, but I just got a pair of Huron sprue cutters that I've had for, God, I took them to Iraq with me back in 2012. I'm tough on tools. So with this hobby, you can spend as much or as little as you want. And really what you need to do is find a balance. Be happy with the work you're doing. Learn from the guys on YouTube. I mean, I love what they do on YouTube. And if I can get a tip here and there off that, I'm quite happy, and record it into the and incorporate it into my building. I'm thrilled, and I think just by that my building has gotten better. So you guys take care of yourself. I'm going to see how this homemade video turned out. Turned out any good, I'll keep it. If not, I'll wait for Maggie to come back and she can shoot it and see what happens. Track's going to be drying up right now. I'm going to show you how I weather them with Vallejo acrylics. I I don't use pastels or any type of powder afterwards, but I think I get a nice rust effect. I think I get a lot of nice effects with it, and I think simply, yeah, you guys will be able to, recreate that. So if I can help you get to the next level, or just make it your model just a little bit better than the last, that's all I'm hoping for myself and you guys. Well, you guys take out southern France. It's a bit rainy today, although the sun just popped out. Got the house to myself. It's Friday, so I'm looking to look at Plasmo or Night Shift or Scale Model 2 or Hillbilly Modeling. They usually drop on a Friday. It's always good fun. Always after my wife goes to bed because she can just take so much of tanks. You guys take care. Steve out.